Hello, my name is Ashley McCants. I'm an occupational therapy student, and today's video is going to be on self-help and ADL skills for kids. This will be ages 0 through 9. Feel free to email me or leave me comments if you have any questions. What are activities of daily living, also known as ADLs? They are tasks of everyday life. Basic ADLs include eating, feeding, dressing, taking a bath or shower, or using the toilet. So they're basic um, tasks that we have to do every day and that are important to our day. So, what are self help skills? They help children have more independence. Self help skills develop along with the milestones. These include skills like dressing themselves, bathing, and mental emotional skills. Mental emotional skills include knowing when to use the bathroom and then showing kindness to others. So, like giving a hug up here when you're saying goodbye to a friend, or knowing when to brush your teeth because it's the end of the day or it's the morning. So, in this PowerPoint presentation, we're going to go through the development of skills. So, we'll talk about important milestone developments. We'll talk about routines for kids and how parents and caretakers can promote the development of skills. And then we're also going to talk about what to do if your child is behind and how to reach out for help when you have concerns about your child. And this will be more specific to the Illinois area, but there's also the same kind of hotlines and helplines that we'll talk about in other states as well. Excuse me. So number one, development of self-help and ADL skills. So 4 to 6 months. At this time, an infant will be able to hold a bottle independently. This is an important skill for feeding independence. You will still need to watch them in case they choke or drink too much or drink too fast. You can help and hold them and adjust the bottle by putting it in their hands. So see up in this upper right picture up here, this mom is holding her baby. You can see his hands are around the bottle as well, but she's also helping him kind of hold it and regulate the amount of milk he's drinking. In the first picture in the top left over here, you can see he's holding it all on his own. You can also, a reminder is to never leave, an important reminder is to never leave the bottle propped up in the child's mouth. This can lead to overeating and causing them to possibly choke as well. So it's a big choking hazard. So don't leave the bottle propped up with anything. So either you hold it, another caretaker, or help baby hold it as well, but make sure you supervise them. Ways to help your baby develop these skills: do not overfill the bottle, as this can make it really heavy for them. So you can do a little bit less formula or breast milk just to make sure that they can hold it by themselves. You can also, at this time, they will not be able to just pick up the bottle and put up the bottle by themselves. So you can also place the bottle in their hands for drinking. This will help them, and then adjust their hands as needed. Like this kiddo up here, this will be the most likely way that they'll hold it, is just kind of more around the nozzle closer to their mouth because it'll be easier to hold. You can also practice with them and really encourage them to hold toys, and this will really help build that strength. So in this bottom right corner, you can see this kiddo is holding a rattle in his hand. That's great practice in building strength for that. You can also give your baby regular tummy time. We talk about this in the developmental skills video, or the developmental milestones, and how it's important to give your child regular tummy time as soon as you can. This will be great because at this time they're going to be pushing up on their forearms. So like here with this baby in the bottom left corner, that'll be great for developing that upper arm strength so that they'll be able to hold their bottle more steady. 8 to 9 months. At this time, an infant will be able to grasp small items with their thumb and pointer finger. So you can see in this first picture up here on the top left, he's grasping it. It looks like his hand is fully closed, but it's really the pinch with the pointer finger, and then this thumb is really around that. This will be really important for them to finger feed themselves. So this will be a skill that they'll be able to do. And you can see in this top right corner right here that this baby is picking up raisins to feed them themselves. And you can see them using that pinch right there. These are important skills for feeding independence, and it'll develop into small motor skills like writing later on. You also need to still watch the baby in case they choke, and to give them food and kind of help them space out and maintain how much they're eating. They'll also You also need to make sure that the food is cut into small enough pieces or as baby food that's appropriate for them to eat, like Cheerios or Puffs. Ways to help your baby develop these skills: give them time to practice self feeding. So it might take a while, it might be a little frustrating that it's taking a while, but also give them time to practice picking up and bringing food to their mouths because they'll need to work on that. Also, give your baby lots of encouragement and praise. Eat together as a family is a really good one that you can use. Um, that really helps motivate them. We'll talk about that more as well. And it's also in my food, feeding and eating skills development video as well. Play and keep doing tummy time is another great one. Playing with small appropriate toys like little blocks and stuff like that, or little people. Also be careful during this time because baby will want to put things in their mouth that they might not be do might shouldn't they should not be doing. Sorry about that. They should not be putting certain things in their mouths, but they won't know any better because they just want to explore the items. So make sure you're still watching them when they're playing with toys and supervising them. 9 to 12 months, so at this time, your infant will be able to hold a spoon to eat. It may not be the greatest, and it may be a little off, and that will take some time to develop that grip, actually a few years. Um, but they will be trying to scoop the spoon. They might have to put the food on it with their other hand, and then they'll be able to bring it to their mouth. Ways you can help your child develop the skill: give your child time to practice. It's okay to get messy when they're eating. Um, Make sure that they know that it's okay to get messy or they have a bib and things like that. Also, when they do get messy and they get yogurt or pudding or whatever on their face, don't immediately wipe it off. Kind of just let it sit there so they get used to, oh, I'm missing a lot, getting a lot of food on my face. So they kind of see where their air is coming from. And then if you're constantly wiping it off, it actually can make them sensitive to having things on their face as well. Also, keep playing with your child and encourage them to explore new things. That can be very helpful with them wanting to explore food as well and play with food. So kind of let them take their time figuring out what they're doing with their spoon and certain foods. So 12 to 18 months at this time, your child will be able to remove their socks, notify their parent when their diaper is soiled. They'll cooperate with dressing tasks. They'll also help wash a few of their body parts during bath time. So in these pictures, you can really see the kiddo taking off their socks. It's really just a big pinch and grab, and they're yanking off their sock. Ways you can help your baby with this is encourage your baby to remove their socks when appropriate. So if you come home from the park and you take off their shoes, have them sit there and try to take off their socks. That's a great way to practice, and it'll make it make more sense when they have to take off their shoes in the future when they get old enough. Also, ask them if their diaper is wet or dirty and tell them when it is. So if they're having trouble or you notice that they're frustrated and their diaper might be wet, you can ask them, "Oh, do you have a dirty diaper?" And try to get them to say yes, or that they do have a dirty diaper, nod their head. And then if they're having trouble telling when they do have a dirty diaper, you can also say, "Oh goodness, you have a dirty diaper. Let's change that." Or "You have a wet diaper. Let's go change that." You can also narrate during this time, and you can narrate even before this. I think I encourage this in the development video. Like immediately when you bring baby home, just start talking about what you're doing and what baby's doing. That's a great way for them to develop talking skills and understanding the process of, oh, I have to put on my diaper, then I have to put on my pants next, because you're telling them, hey, we're going to put your diaper on, and now we're going to put your pants on. And then also for the body part washing, or for washing themselves more independently, you can actually put your hand over their hand and guide it with a washcloth to scrub their arm or scrub their chest or scrub their belly. That's how they can really start to learn how to wash themselves. So for 18 to 24 months at this time, your child will be able to hold and drink from a cup with minimal spilling. So when we talk about open cup drinking, that is in this top right up here. I will link an additional video below to talk more about open cup drinking, but it's very important to try to use an open cup more than a sippy cup. I know in the beginning that using an open cup will be difficult, but most times for children, they don't really need to be carrying around a sippy cup and drinking that much. So really good to start using an open cup at about a year old and showing baby how they can hold it, sit there and drink. And you just need a tiny cup with a little bit of water or breast milk or formula in it, and you can just start practicing drinking with them. And they can learn pretty quickly if you work with them on that. They'll also be able to eat with a spoon with minimal spilling, and they'll be able to give up their bottle. So, ways you can help your toddler develop these skills. So, ways you can help your toddler develop these skills: give your child time to practice. It's going to take time, so you can take whenever they turn a year old and you get a little itty bitty cup for them to use. Give them like 5-10 minutes after dinner time to practice drinking from a cup. Um, if you need to use sippy cups, only use them for kids that are under 2, just because they're not great developmentally for learning how to not spill on yourself and learning how to drink just enough liquid. That'll make it really hard for them to learn that. Also, spills are going to happen, and that's okay. So remind your child that it's okay if a spill happens, and you can actually show them how to clean up their skills because they're really going to start their self-help skills at this time, where they want to be mommy's little helper, daddy's little helper, and help around the house. So it's okay to do that and show them, oh, we need a paper towel. Can you help me wipe it up? And they will usually gladly do that. It's also okay if you still breastfeed and choose to, but just try not to use bottles for every drink. Um, so breastfeeding is just fine. And if you're still gonna have them drink breast milk from something, try to put it in an open cup because that'll be the best way to give it. And if they're under that 2-year mark and you need to, you can use sippy cups, but try to get away from bottles. So 2 to 3 years. So at this time, your child will be able to unzip zippers and unbutton some large buttons. They'll still require assistance with managing pullover clothing. So that meaning like a shirt, a sweatshirt, something that they pull over their head that might be difficult. So you'll notice they'll try to stick their head through the armhole, or they can't find the right arm to go into the hole. So just kind of help guide them through that and give them help, like, oh, hold it like this, pull it over your head, and give your child time to practice with that. They'll also be able to take off their pants, coats, socks, and shoes without fasteners. So if they're just pull-over pants, they could just take those right off. Same with a coat. If it's just like a little cardigan that's on them, they'll be able to take that off. And they can do some large buttons, but that's about it. They'll also be able to indicate when they have to go to the bathroom, but they will still be having a few accidents during the day. So they'll still be getting used to listening to their body. So this is a great time to watch videos, talk about listening to your body when you have to go potty and things like that. So I'll have some of those resources linked below as well. Ways to help your child develop these skills. So give your child that time to practice. Make sure you have extra time to put on clothes and eat, because they'll be able to feed themselves with little to no spilling. It just might take a little extra time than you feeding yourself. So make sure you give that extra time. Also, eating as a family can really, really help. Great time for bonding, great time for trying new foods together, or even cooking together is a great time. Encourage your child to make sure, encourage your child and make sure to let them learn. So I'm sure I'm gonna redo that. And then remember to encourage your child and make sure to let them learn. So don't let them get too frustrated, but let them kind of try to figure it out a little bit. Let them try to do their buttons first and really encourage them. Like if they try for one button and they say, I'm done, I'm not doing anymore, try to say, well, let's try again. Let's try a new button. Let's try, oh, and then you can show them how to push it through. So that's a great way to get them into being more independent and dressing themselves. 3 to 4 years old, at this time, a child will be able to independently dress themselves. They still may need help with fasteners like zippers and buttons. They'll be able to bathe themselves as well, with the exception of washing their own hair. They may still need help with that. They'll be independent with toileting control, so they'll be able to hold it and go potty when they need to. They can tell you when they need to go, but they might need to go with some help. They might need some help wiping or some help getting their pants up or getting onto the toilet. So it just depends on the situation. Ways to help your child develop these skills. Help your child pick out clothes for the day. It's will likely be difficult if you give them their whole closet as an option. So just give them 1 to 2 options. Say, do you want this shirt or do you want this shirt? And they get to pick from those 2 or 3 options. Always supervise your child when they bathe, because they may need help figuring that out still. So taking a bath and things like that. Also, having routines for toileting, bathing, and getting dressed can really, really help. I'll talk more about routines later, but here's a little example routine. So, bathroom, make bed, get dressed, things like that. Same with PM, picking up toys, pack backpack, put on PJs, such and such. We'll talk about that more later. 5 to 6 years old. So at this time, child will be able to independently dress themselves, including shoe tying. I will link a video below for shoe tying as well. But all grooming and bathing care can be done with supervision. So they'll just need little reminders here and there. So brushing their teeth, showering, bath, washing hands, they'll be able to do independently. They just might need little reminders. They'll also be independent with going potty on their own. So, ways you can help your child develop these skills: always watch your child, make sure they complete their routines. Be encouraging and demonstrate routines in front of your child. So, if you guys brush your teeth together in the morning or show, I'm going to go brush my teeth, you should go brush your teeth, that can be a really good reminder and a great encourager for, oh, mommy does it too, or daddy does it too, or my big sister, big brother does it too. So, I can go brush my teeth too. Also, having a visual schedule can really help. I'll have these linked below and I'll talk more about them later, but they can be very helpful for kids seeing and understanding because pictures are very easy to see and be like, oh, gotta do that, and remember to do those things. Also, give your child time to practice all of these skills, and because that's how they learn best is just by doing, and really just give them the time to complete their routine. And I know sometimes it'll get rushed, but try to consistently have it so that they have 15 minutes to get dressed, or they have 10 minutes to get dressed, and that's the amount of time they need. And then another reminder that kids at this age will still need reminders to complete certain aspects of their routine, so they might forget to brush their teeth or brush their hair. So it's good to have reminders for that and be encouraging about those things. 7 to 9 years old. So at this time, child will be able to independently dress themselves, and they can also select appropriate clothing for the weather. So this is a skill that can be a little hard to learn for some kiddos, or they get a little stubborn. So that's where using books, using picture resources, and videos are fantastic for showing them that. No, it's cold outside, you have to wear a coat. Or telling those things like, oh, do you want to wear a pink coat or a purple coat if you have those options? Ways you can help your child with these skills. Although kids at this age are independent, make sure they're still completing their routine because they might forget here and there or skip some things. Always be encouraging and give your child praise when they're doing good. So if they complete their stuff, like remember to give them praise for doing those things because that can be very annoying or something that they don't want to do. And getting praise from mom about being, independent, dressing themselves and doing a good job might be the thing that keeps them from, oh, I'll keep doing that because it's a good thing to do. It kind of reminds them of that. Make sure to discuss whether and how to pick out clothes. So I'll have this book linked. Also, is Do I Have to Wear a Coat? Great read along book that they have on YouTube. Talks about the different seasons and when you would need a coat and when you don't need a coat. Another thing for our great Midwestern state of Illinois, and then also other areas that get cold as well, is I'll have this resource linked to. It's a great little chart that shows like when it's chilly, cold, extreme cold. I know we kind of sit between for Illinois, chilly and cold. I've also lived in North Dakota and Minnesota, and I can tell you that we do hit extreme cold pretty good. So it's great to go over those things and explain how that's different for kids and how they can see that. So now helping at home. So this is a great way to encourage your children to learn those self-help skills so that in the future, like if they're 8 years old and they spill their milk and you are busy with something, that they know, I need to grab a paper towel, I need to clean it off the floor, put the paper towel in the trash, and then wipe off the floor so it's nice and clean. And that's something that you can teach them starting pretty young. It just takes some time to practice and learn. So once your child shows interest in helping, you can give them the opportunity to help you. It's usually around 2 years old. You can add chores to their routine as well, such as setting the table, putting away laundry, cleaning up toys, taking out trash. Putting away toys, you can start pretty early too. At about like 1 to 2 years old, that's a great time to start cleanup time. Make sure your chores or make sure to try to make chores fun. This will help get your child to do them as well. Because if you hate them and you don't want to do them, they're not going to want to do them either because you don't like doing chores. Why would they like doing chores? So use chores as time to bond and talk with your child, or play music or sing together. Also doing chores together, like this kid with his mom doing dishes together, that can mean all the difference. Also, make it a race if it's appropriate. So, like racing with all the laundry from the laundry room to the family room to fold. You can also use make believe as a motivator if your kid's really into make believe stuff. It's a great time to go into those things and kind of make it fun for them. So, you can really expand on that. So, routines for kids. So, why are routines important? They really help build confidence. Kids are more confident when completing familiar routines. It also increases predictability, and having predictability in routines can help ease worries and anxiety. It'll also help your kids feel more in control. It allows your child to have control of certain aspects of their day or certain parts of their day, so they know that their bedtime routine is always the same. It's always at this time, and it's okay to have changes every once in a while, but pretty consistently, especially with school when they start that, they should have a really consistent routine. It'll also help increase independence by having the same routine again and again. It gives your child a lot of time to practice, and then eventually they can do that routine by themselves. And that'll help them feel really good about themselves that they have independence. So, a typical morning routine can look like waking up, making your bread, brushing your teeth, getting dressed, things like that. So, something super simple in the beginning. After school can look like having time to play and have a snack after school, completing your homework, and then having that time set aside for dinner and family time. So, if you have dinner for 30 minutes and then you spend time together as a family playing a game or going outside, going for a walk, any of those things is fantastic for bonding, and then also it'll kind of help you get into that wind down time of your bedtime routine. So making a routine, I'll have these linked below as well. You can print them, write on them, change them up however you want. But you just write your child's name in there, and then once they complete the task, you just check it off or add a sticker or add an X to it, and that'll show what they've completed for the week. I have these for Monday through Friday, but if you guys would like more for Saturday, Sunday as well, feel free to ask. It's always good to give your child a break sometimes too. That doesn't mean that they won't brush their teeth or something, but it won't be as busy as a routine. Like they won't have homework, they won't have to really check their calendar. But if you guys want me to add Saturday, Sunday on there, let me know. So, red flags and self help and ADL skills. So, red flag really is just something um, providers use that when you see this, like, oh, this can be a cause for concern or a need for early intervention services. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that the sooner that we know that your child is having trouble or needs help with something a little bit more, then the sooner that we get them that help, the better that they can get back on track. So these are kind of like the big ones for self-help and ADL skills is not feeding finger foods by 14 months, having difficulty chewing foods at mealtime. So if you notice it's really hard for your child and they're getting very tired at chewing, that can be muscle weakness that can be addressed with early intervention services. If you also notice coughing or choking after eating or drinking on a regular basis with any age child. So if you notice when you guys have lunch together or dinner together, at least one or two times during that time, you're having issues with your child coughing, choking on food or water. Not feeding self by 14 months, not attempting to use a spoon by 15 months, not picking up or drinking from a regular open cup by 15 months, not able to pull off hats, socks, mittens by 15 months, not attempting to wash hands or face by 19 months, and not assisting with dressing tasks except for fasteners by 22 months, because we know that fasteners do take a while to figure out, even up to about 5, 6, 7 years old, or even 9 years old. Not able to do large buttons, and also snaps and shoelaces by 34 months, so 3 years and 10 months. So, what should you do? If you have concerns about your child's development, you know your child best, reach out to your child's doctor. The earlier, the better. Keep track of your milestones. I do talk about this in another video about tracking milestones and how to do that. This will really help you remember where your child is at, especially if you have multiple children. It can be hard to remember as a parent when you have a lot of things to remember, and that's totally fine. So that's why I'm trying to provide resources to help it be just a little bit easier when you have those conversations in the doctor's office. Your doctor also may refer you to additional testing and services. And then also make sure your child has their developmental screenings. This is pretty standard for all these checkups, but usually developmental screenings will occur at 9, 18, 24, or 30 months. Early intervention services. So this is specific to Illinois, but there are very similar services in every state because they are required by the idea. But free evaluations will determine eligibility. Planning and coordinating services for eligible children and family are free. EI services are funded by a variety of sources, including private and public funds, so it really just depends on your income needs. That'll determine eligibility and payment and things like that. For Illinois, you can learn more at this link that I'll have below as well. You can also call the IDHS helpline at these two numbers, and then you can also look at more information available at their clearinghouse one. So I'll send that one out as well, and that'll be in the description below. And then I just really like this quote because it really shows how important it is. But behind every young child who believes in themselves is a parent who believes first. So it's really important for you to have those encouragement and belief in your child because that'll really be what sets the stage for their self-confidence and what they believe in themselves. So thanks for listening.